But what they need to do is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
Tom Bower just dropped a book, and it's already causing serious noise. The reaction from Meghan and Harry? Strange, tense, and impossible to ignore. This isn't just another story, it's a full exposure that's got everyone talking non-stop. People are starting to question what really went on behind closed doors. The book goes deep, pulling out details that were clearly never meant to be seen. Pressure is building fast, and things are starting to feel heated. Reports are spreading that there's a strong push to keep certain parts quiet. And that only makes everything look more intense, because when something gets shut down this quickly, it usually means there's way more going on than expected. Sources close to the situation are hinting this could be a turning point, not just for their image, but for everything connected to their brand. The timing, the details, the reaction, it all feels too big to brush off. And if even part of this turns out to be true, public opinion could shift in a major way. They had one simple job: stay quiet, that's it, and somehow they still couldn't do it. This week, Harry and Meghan released a sharp public statement calling investigative journalist Tom Bower deranged. That one word alone made people stop scrolling instantly. Here's where it gets wild. The book wasn't even officially out yet, and within 48 hours, that statement was everywhere online. Instead of shutting anything down, it pushed the book straight to #1 on Amazon. They didn't silence it, they boosted it without even trying. But here's what many people still aren't fully seeing.
You can't trust Meghan and Harry. That's the point. Even if you think you've got a deal, and I don't believe that is possible, but if you think you have, the palace will be shocked that they will renege immediately because they have no advantage of reconciliation. They've got no advantage of ending their vendetta.
This book doesn't just focus on what happened inside palace walls. It goes much deeper. It looks into Meghan's life before Harry was even around, a past that's been kept low-key for years. And that's exactly why things feel so tense right now. Now people keep asking one big question. If the book is full of lies, why not sue? Not. Harry has never avoided legal fights. He's taken major tabloids to court, stood in front of judges, and pushed back hard against the press. Legal action has basically been part of his strategy. So why not go after Tom Bower? They didn't take legal action when Revenge came out in 2022 either. They responded, called things false, showed frustration, but still no lawsuit. And now, it's the same pattern all over again. Tom Bower isn't just some random writer sharing opinions. He's a trained barrister, someone who understands the law inside out. He builds cases carefully, stacks evidence, and keeps everything tight. He's written over 25 books about powerful people, politicians, billionaires, royalty, and not a single one has successfully taken him down in court.
You might be looking at Meghan Markle saying, well, she's in Harper's Bazaar, she's in a big magazine. Sweetie, this is a major downgrade from being British royalty.
Then there's Vancouver, and this part gets messy fast. Members of the Sussex supporter crowd showed up at the Invictus Games, surrounded Tom Bower, filmed him, and tried to put him on blast online. The goal seemed obvious: embarrass a 79-year-old man in front of everyone watching. But here's the twist they didn't expect. By filming him there, they actually confirmed he was present the entire time. They turned him into a direct eyewitness, someone who could speak on exactly what happened because he saw it himself. Later, he even pointed out how that moment worked in his favor. Now take a closer look at their official statement. It says Mr. Bower's commentary has crossed the line into fixation, but that doesn't fully add up. He wrote one book about them, then moved on to other projects, including a biography on the Beckhams. That's not fixation, that's just doing his job. And then there's the word that really stands out: deranged. That choice wasn't random. Online, certain labels carry weight, especially among active fan groups. Using that kind of language publicly sends a strong signal. When that kind of label is aimed at a 79-year-old journalist, especially with a very active online audience watching closely, it shifts the situation fast. Suddenly the attention isn't just on the book, it's on how far things are being pushed. In British law, when something is false, you take it to court. When it's not, you release a statement and try to manage the reaction. That's exactly what happened here. They chose a statement over a lawsuit, and people noticed that immediately. The book was already being released in parts through the Times before the full launch. And what's come out so far? Just the surface.
By the magazine editor that wanted to turn you into a star, that in their cover feature, they actually screw you over in such dramatic fashion that you may end up being stripped of your royal title. That is just what's happened overnight with this extraordinary cover feature on Harper's Bazaar with Meghan Markle as they claim that she's meeting her moment.
One section that really got people talking involves Queen Camilla. According to Tom Bower, she allegedly told a close friend, Meghan has brainwashed Harry. That's not some random online rumor, that's a claim tied to someone who spent decades inside royal circles, watching everything up close. When a statement like that is connected to someone at that level, it hits differently. It doesn't sound like casual gossip. It feels direct, personal, like it's based on years of observation. Then comes the moment that reportedly changed everything. June 2018, right after the honeymoon. A meeting at William and Catherine's Kensington Palace apartment meant to calm things down and fix the growing tension. But instead, things escalated fast. According to Bower, William pointed his finger during the conversation, and Meghan fired back, "If you don't mind, get your finger out of my face." That moment shifted the entire tone. From there, nothing felt the same, and the distance only grew.
Let's talk a little Harry and Meghan. Their Archwell Foundation has been declared delinquent by the state of California, meaning it is not in good standing as a charity and not permitted to engage in activities like raising and spending money, pretty much all you would expect a charitable fund to do.
Then came what many describe as a sudden disconnect. Harry reportedly changed his phone number without telling close contacts, and long-time friendships faded almost overnight. Some people from his past weren't even invited to the private wedding gathering. Even a former royal butler later confirmed parts of this shift publicly. From the outside, it didn't look like people left him. It looked like space was created around him. Now the Santa Barbara situation raises even more questions. Harry reportedly flew to Tokyo trying to secure support from a wealthy Japanese investor to keep his charity going. That alone shows the level of pressure building behind the scenes. Then on a flight to Singapore, Dr. Sophie Chan presented him with a detailed brand audit, and the results were rough. Over 50 major companies were surveyed, and the conclusion was clear. His public image had taken a serious hit. Meghan was reportedly described as a reputational liability. That's not light talk, that's a heavy label in business circles. Harry's reaction didn't exactly ease the moment either. When faced with those findings, he compared his situation to Johnny Depp, which only pulled in more attention. Not long after, Sophie Chan was no longer involved, and she later made public claims of harassment.
That Meghan was warmly welcomed in Britain, that everyone in the royal family tried their very, very hardest to make her feel at home and accommodate her, but that unfortunately Meghan only wanted to be the star and made it impossible for her and the royal family to collaborate.
Soon after, the charity itself began struggling to stay afloat. Then came the Netflix pressure. Harry's Polo documentary reportedly ranked near the bottom, and at a major Netflix event, comedian John Mulaney openly joked about them in front of top executives and big-name stars. Meghan's project didn't even get mentioned during the main presentation. The shift in public reaction happened fast. A visit to a wildfire-affected area with cameras rolling quickly backfired and drew criticism instead. Filmmaker Justine Bateman called them disaster tourists. And that phrase spread everywhere online. This is where things start getting serious. Tom Bower's style, built over more than 25 books, focuses on pulling out the moments that hit hardest and putting them front and center. And now attention keeps circling back to one thing: the past that was never meant to stay in focus. So who was Meghan before Harry? Before all of this? She worked as a briefcase model on Deal or No Deal, a role she openly said she didn't enjoy.
I think there were various things about her
sexual life, which I dropped out on the grounds of privacy laws in Britain.
She felt boxed in, like she was just standing there waiting to be picked, and that frustration stayed with her. At the same time, her acting career wasn't exactly taking off. There were pilots that didn't go anywhere, small roles, quick appearances that didn't leave much impact. By typical Hollywood standards, she wasn't seen as a major name or rising star at that point. Then came Suits, a legal drama filmed in Toronto that finally gave her steady screen time. And that's when things started to shift. And this is where everything starts to shift in a noticeable way. According to Tom Bower's earlier book Revenge, now revisited in Betrayal, a pattern begins to stand out more clearly. Her first husband, Trevor Engelson. They were together for 7 years and married in 2011 in Jamaica. People around them said the relationship felt real and solid. But once Suits took off and she moved to Toronto, things ended within just 2 years. Reports claim Engelson didn't see it coming at all. It caught him completely off guard. Then came chef Corey Vitiello. They were together for around 2 years, living together and building a shared routine. But that relationship also ended right around the time she was introduced to Harry through a mutual connection. What Bower highlights is a repeated shift across different stages of her life. Relationships and close connections seemed to change quickly whenever new opportunities appeared. One chapter would close and the next would begin just as fast. No looking back, no overlap. And this pattern doesn't just start there. It goes back even further. Long before the palace, long before Harry was even part of the picture. For years, there have been ongoing questions about Meghan's social circles in Hollywood, private events, high-level connections, and exclusive gatherings most people never even get near. These conversations have been around for a long time, but they've never been clearly addressed or fully shut down with specifics. And that's exactly the space Tom Bower focuses on, the unanswered parts. It leads to a bigger question people keep asking. How much of Meghan's public image came naturally and how much of it was carefully built over time? Then comes the topic that always sparks the strongest reactions: the children.
Guys, an internet glitch on Meghan Markle's website has revealed more than she probably ever wanted people to know about how poorly her business is performing. Yes, oh yes, she tried to really promote last year that As Ever was this massive success. It was selling out left, right, and center. But just, about 8, 9, 10 months in, we see a very different picture. Because right now, it looks like a good chunk of your spread is probably going to expire before you ever sell it, and probably going to end up in a landfill.
Royal author Lady Colin Campbell, known for her connections in aristocratic circles, has publicly called for clear confirmation surrounding the births. Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, has also said there are still unanswered questions. Her half-sister Samantha Markle has gone on record suggesting that if surrogacy was involved, it should be openly acknowledged. There have even been claims that a high-ranking palace courtier spoke to media about ongoing speculation over the years. Discussion around Archie and Lilibet has remained extremely private, with very limited public detail shared, and the legal side adds even more weight to it. Under British royal succession, rules, specific conditions can affect placement in line to the throne, which is why this topic keeps drawing so much attention. Archie and Lilibet currently hold the 6th and 7th positions in line. That alone makes anything connected to them a serious matter of discussion. If the circumstances of their births were ever formally challenged in a legal setting, the impact on titles and succession would be massive. No doubt about it.
The book, Harry Must Be Nuts. This is one of the text messages his friends were sending around to each other after Meghan's first introduction to Harry's friends in 2017 during a shooting weekend at Sandringham.
One detail people still point out is how different everything looked from the start. There was no traditional hospital steps moment for Archie, something that usually comes with royal births. The level of privacy felt unusual compared to what the public had seen before. Then in June 2025, Meghan posted a video on Instagram dancing with Harry while showing a baby bump. Many saw it as a direct response to the speculation, but almost immediately critics began questioning what they were seeing, with some saying it didn't look natural. That reaction only pushed the topic even further into the spotlight. And what keeps this conversation alive is one key thing: the lack of a clear, detailed response over time. This question hasn't been directly addressed, not in the Oprah interview, not in the Netflix series, not in Spare, not anywhere publicly. And when something that simple could clear things up, silence tends to keep people talking even louder.
South Park cartoon, you know, when they on their worldwide
Privacy
tour, and you see this shot where they slice off the head of Meghan's head and look inside and it's empty.
Hollow.
And that is exactly the issue.
Tom Bower's narrative leans right into that gap, focusing on the questions that never seem to get a direct answer. Betrayal zeroes in on the exact period when all these conversations were at their loudest. And that's why the timing right now feels huge. And then there's what's coming next. Australia, mid-April, their first return in 7 years. Back in 2018, they arrived as newly married working royals, greeted by massive crowds and non-stop media attention. That was the peak. Now, the mood looks completely different. A petition on change.org is already gaining traction, calling for Australian taxpayers not to cover their security costs. The argument is simple: they stepped away as working royals, so they should now be treated as private citizens. And people are reacting to that decision in real time. The message behind the petition is clear: treat them exactly how they've chosen to live now, as private individuals. So what are they actually going to Australia for? Meghan is set to headline a luxury weekend retreat in Sydney. Ticket prices start at $2,699, and a VIP package, including a group photo with her, goes up to $3,199. Only 300 spots are available, making it feel exclusive and high status. At the same time, Harry is scheduled to speak at a workplace mental health summit in Melbourne. That appearance is also drawing attention, especially considering past online clashes between supporters and critics. It adds another layer. How will his message land in that environment?
The abdication happened because of the American Wallace. That was a catastrophe in a way, but we overcame it, and his successor, George VI, was a terrifically successful king. And of course, the Queen was phenomenally successful, and we'll see what happens.
Some commentators are already speaking out. Royal commentator Rob Shooter says this isn't being seen as a traditional royal tour at all. Instead, they're showing up as private figures while still being closely tied to royal discussions. Royal historian Tim Hewitt went even further, calling Australia a turning point in their story. He suggested that what happened during the 2018 visit may have influenced the direction they later took. Back then, they were representing the monarchy and pulling huge crowds everywhere. Now they're returning under completely different conditions, and not everyone sees it as a simple comeback. One moment from that 2018 trip still gets brought up. Meghan was reportedly overheard near the Sydney Opera House, looking at the crowds and saying, "What are they all doing here? It's silly." Staff later explained that people gathered out of respect for the monarchy. That detail still sparks debate today, because back then people showed up freely just to see them. Now in 2026, things look very different, with reports of high-priced events where access comes at a cost. That shift hasn't gone unnoticed. Tom Bower's book officially drops on March 26th, and the timing couldn't be more intense. By the time they land in Australia, the media will have already gone through every page, every claim, every detail. Every appearance will be watched closely, not just for what they say, but what they avoid saying. Before that public statement, the book was already gaining attention. But after they responded, everything exploded. It shot straight to #1 on Amazon before most people even got their hands on it. Across social media, the pattern was obvious. People admitted they weren't planning to read it until that statement made them curious enough to pre-order. Major outlets picked it up everywhere, but not just because of the book. The real story became the reaction.
Nobody gave a crap about the box. And Meghan Markle's, I think, whole idea that this was going to be like the box was going to be a huge thing. Like, it's a normal box. And I have her dumb keepsake thing from the spread that she forced us to buy for the first round, and it's useless. And so she was kind of a dummy and wildly overstocked the box.
Publications like People magazine, Daily Beast, AOL, IB Times, and Parade all amplified. it globally. There's even a name for this kind of situation, the Streisand effect. When someone tries to shut something down, it often does the exact opposite. It brings even more attention. And that's exactly what happened here. The attempt to push back only made the spotlight stronger. They didn't stay out of it. They stepped right into it. Right now, what's out is only a preview. The full book lands March 26th, and the unseen chapters are what people are most curious about. That's where the real pressure is building. What stands out most is how fast everything escalated. Before the full release, before all the details were even public, a strong statement dropped calling Tom Bower deranged. And just like that, interest skyrocketed. 7 years ago, Australia welcomed them with huge crowds and open arms. Now, there's a petition pushing back, a book sitting at number 1, and non-stop debate across every platform. Reports of expensive events, old moments, resurfacing, and unanswered questions still circulating. It's all building fast. And right in the center of it all is Tom Bower. No legal action, no slowdown, no silence. The pushback didn't shrink the story. It made it bigger. Now everything comes down to what happens next. Will they respond directly or keep things as they are? When the full book drops, will it confirm what people suspect? Or flip the narrative again? And when they arrive in Australia, how will the public react this time? Are people finally seeing the truth, or is this getting out of control? Let me know below and make sure you subscribe for more updates.